Good evening and welcome to Electronic Game Information and our final episode of the Quarant-Egi version of the show. This is the quarantine lockdown version of EGI that you guys have stuck around for, stuck through all of the scabs and cuts and little when you and the pinches, all of the uncomfortable things that happen during the show. You guys have stuck with us. You've grown with us as we've figured out how to make a show, a video game talk show that covers the video game news that no one else is talking about in this current situation. It's just an unbelievable honor to have been doing that for you guys. It's been an unbelievable honor to be bringing you guys all these wonderful video game discussions and news and interviews. It's just a real treat, as much for us as it is hopefully is for you. But before, we had a great show for you tonight. It's the final episode of Quarant-Egi. Let's dive right into the news. First up is our Brute Force. Brute Force is ready for a comeback. This Xbox exclusive multiplayer focused action game that was meant to be the follow up to Halo is still we here at EGI believes that it's ready for a comeback. It's original Xbox exclusive. It's stated original Xbox exclusive, except that maybe if you want to bring it out on PS10 or good old games, that would be fine. We don't think it should go on XBL though. If you're a fan of first-person shooters on the Nintendo 3DS, if you're a fan of Moon Chronicles, but you're looking for something that allows you to destroy enemies in an unending cycle of levels, you might want to take a gander at Fatal Fracture. Fatal Fracture is, of course, on the Nintendo eShop at nintendo.com/games/detail/fatal fracture-3DS. But just so you know, this is not when I say the word fracture, I'm not talking about the game, the Xbox 360 game Fracture, the third-person shooter where you cause earthquakes, developed by the wonderful people at Day One Studios, the same people that brought us Fear 3 and a number of other incredibly unique takes on different genres like Fear 3. And so this game is 99 cents on the Nintendo eShop, exclusive to the Nintendo eShop. You can go ahead and buy it now for your 3DS if you're looking for something. It's not a good game. It's some people would say it's one of the worst games on the Nintendo 3DS, but it is 99 cents, so why not give it a whirl? Let's take some looks at some actual screenshot. This is an actual screenshot from Fatal Fracture for the 3DS. This is no fooling, no holds barred coverage of Fatal Fracture for the Nintendo 3DS. Alan, what do you think of all of this?
Well, I it's just one of those screenshots from one of those Robby games. People love them.
It's not. It's a first-person shooter. It's on the Nintendo 3D. It's on the Alan. It's on the eShop. If you have something, if you have an insight, we'd love to hear it.
Can I get a closer look at that screenshot?
Absolutely. How about this? I'm gonna, instead of making you look at the same old screenshot, I'm gonna show you. Yes, we have two EGI exclusive screenshots of Fatal Fracture for the Nintendo 3DS.
Wow, look at that. It's a little hard to see, Robbie. I'm actually on my phone instead. Normally I'm on my computer.
Right.
Robbie.
Well, that's all well and good, Alan. But we're in the middle of the show, so if you could just kind of quit trying to get into the house, we can continue on with the show, covering the news, the video game news that no one else is willing to cover.
Got it. Back to you, Robbie.
So back to you, Alan. One of the playable characters, of course, in the Brute Force game that I was mentioning earlier is Brutus. So if you think about the namesake of Brutus, namesake of Brutal Force is Brutus. This is the titular character. He's not pictured in the screenshot that I showed a few screenshots ago, but I thought it would be instructive because he does seem to have this incredible ability to go feral. That's his special ability in Brute Force. So if you're playing with a friend and you've got one of you playing as the sniper character, one of you playing as the soldier character, one of you can actually play as Brutus in Brute Force and go on a tear through the enemies in that incredible split-screen multiplayer action game that spans multiple planets. Alan.
Very cool. Yeah, Robbie, that seems like a very fun game.
Well, Alan, if you would give it a second there before you hit the door again, because we are picking up we are picking that up on the microphone in the northeastern beautiful northeast LA. It's a beautiful day today.
It is. Look at that. Beautiful sky.
Beautiful, Robby. Incredible sky. Reminds me, of course, when I see a beautiful sky, it reminds me of games that don't have skies, or where the sky is obscured, and it makes
No Man's Sky, Robby. You're talking about No Man's Sky.
No, I'm not talking about No Man's Sky. I'm talking about games where you can't actually see the sky.
Ow.
We can't actually see the sky in games like Vampire Rain Altered Species, the PlayStation 3 game that asks the question, what happens if you take Metal Gear Solid, Guns of the Patriots, strip out all the bells and whistles and the things that make that game special, add vampires, put it in a version of Los Angeles where it's constantly raining. And of course, I think that we could do with a little bit of rain, although I would say with due respect to this incredibly overlooked action title, Vampire Rain, a stealth action game. Believe it or not, if you can think about ways to hunt vampires, you would think that stealth might not necessarily. Well, it depends, of course, because if you're hunting the vampires in their castles, and yes, you do want the stealth because you want to get to the crypt where they're hiding in the coffins, and you want to get to those coffins as quickly and as quietly as possible, because if those vampires wake up and you're hands over them with a stake and they wake up, you're toast.
Yeah, that would be pretty spooky if a vampire woke up and you were being in stealth mode.
I mean, what's the conversation there?
Hey, sorry, didn't mean to wake you. Oh, wrong house.
Wrong house. Yeah, that might get you out. But they say, but then the vampire, of course, is probably doesn't some sort of a lot of these vampires are in the Balkans.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to visit the Balkans. That seems kind of like a neat place to go.
Seems like a neat place, except for the vampires. But that's up to the good people of the former Yugoslavia to deal with on their own time, in their own way. Time Splitters 2 is the guy from Time Splitters 2 is in the news. We don't know if those are glasses or his eyes, but we can tell you right now that he bears a striking resemblance, without the glasses or eyes, to the main character from Second Sight. Of course, Time Splitters 2 or Time Splitters Future Perfect, you can see there. I'm not sure if this is actually him from 2 or Future Perfect. We can't tell if he's a different character, but some similarity, you must say, to the main character from Second Sight. 2 different types of games: first-person shooter with a very robust multiplayer component on one hand, and on the other hand, a psychological action game, or a telekinetic action game with stealth elements, not unlike the stealth elements in Vampire Rain.
Metal Gear Solid also has a lot of stealth in it.
This is Metal Gear Solid. This is EGI exclusive. Alan, this is EGI exclusive Metal Gear Solid news. We can hear you. Thank you. What we're looking for is insight into games like Vampire Rain, Second Sight.
I don't know much about that game.
Time Splitters, Robby. And of course, Alan, when you talk about Second Sight, you can't ever talk about Second Sight without talking about PsyOps. PsyOps, the third-person action game with no vehicles that uses telekinesis as a way of getting you through the various levels of various Havoc engine puzzles that we all know and love from PsyOps. Or Second Sight, I don't believe, uses Havoc, but we don't have that information right in front of us now. Alan, since you're the Second Sight expert, so what's going on there?
Yeah, Second Sight uses Havoc, I thought.
No, Second Sight does not use Havoc. PsyOps uses Havoc. I believe that Second Sight might use a custom physics engine or no physics engine at all. I mean, I can't remember the last time I picked up something and dropped it in Second Sight.
Robby, do you have a cup of water? I'm thirsty and I have to pee. Can I use your bathroom?
Yeah, you can go outside. There's a wonderful jade bush. These incredible jade bushes that grow here in Los Angeles. Very resilient. Very, very, very resilient. Very good if you're looking for flood control during the sort of monsoon season that we do have around here. So just go ahead and use the jade.
Is this the jade?
If the bathroom is occupied when I need to go, I usually go on the jade.
Robby, is this the jade?
Yeah, that's the
Is this
Jade.
Jade?
That's the
Great.
You
Thank
want
you,
the one
Robby.
with the smaller Jade. Usually
Okay.
that's the case, but who knows these days? Everything's up in the air, except what's not up in the air is that the $499 price tag that I would be willing to pay for this Dragon Quest 11 controller for the PlayStation 4. And you know that there was a Dragon Quest. There have been slime controllers for all of the Dragon Quest modern Dragon Quest games from 8 to 11. But I'm willing to pay $499 for the PlayStation 4 one. And mind Jack. Okay, so final news of the evening, of course, is Silverload. Silverload, should we bring back, the question that is on the minds of many people is, should we bring back Silverload, the wonderful point-and-click adventure game that was remastered? Believe it or not, point-and-click adventure games were remastered for the PlayStation, Alan.
Can you hear that, Robby, when I do
can,
that?
please, yes. It's major. Alan, if you could just give the we're talking about Silverload here. This is a point-and-click adventure game set in the Old West. Are we ready to? I want to know what we need from you. What we need to know is, can we revisit the Old West? Can we revisit all the problematic stereotypes that the Old West gave us?
I think you can visit almost any problematic stereotype as long as you do it with a critical eye towards the future. Back to you, Robby.
Back to you, Alan. And of course, we can't forget that even though Silverload was a point-and-click adventure game at its heart, it also had these wonderful first-person shooter segments where you fight off the alien vampires. And Alan, if you can see that, you can see the wonderful particle physics here on display, where the reticle goes over the head goes off, and all these the incredible eruption of particle effects, state of the art at the time on the PlayStation. But before it was on the PlayStation, it was a not well received PC game, as I recall, Alan.
Yeah, I heard that people didn't like that one so much, but I bet there's some good qualities you could find. Back to you, Robby.
Back to you, Alan. That was the news, and now we're going to go into our next segment. Alan, please, we are going to go into our next segment. I can't let you in the house.
Why?
Because of the quarantine, because Eric Garcetti, because of Gavin Newsom, and of course all the wonderful people over at the CDC who.
But Robby, I'm being safe.
You're not safe. You're sick.
Robby, I'm being safe. No, Robby, I'm not sick.
You're a carrier, and we can't.
No, Robby, I'm not sick. And look, I have a mask and goggles, and I put on a protective shirt and gloves.
There's nowhere for you to sit. We threw away the couch.
Why?
Because because no one was coming over, so we didn't need the couch anymore.
Well, I'll sit on the floor, and
you can't sit on the floor. That's where the cat is. How big is the house?
Your house is, I don't know. I can't tell from the outside. I'd love to find out. I'll go.
Well, go ahead. And what we need, since you are here on Electronic Game Information, we are talking about Silverload. We're talking about Fatal Fracture, and I think that the connection between the two is that one has an endless amount of first-person shooter levels, and one has only a few. Alan.
What?
Stop.
Okay.
So let's go on to our next segment, which is, of course, very famous. People have been asking about it since we started doing the Quarant-Egi, because they know with all this extra time that people have on their hands that Quarant-Egi.
Quarantine.
Want to know about the spreadsheet? We have the spreadsheet, of course.
I love that, Robby. You know I love that spreadsheet. Quarant-Egi.
Alan, the spreadsheet. Let's take a quick deep dive into this spreadsheet. This is EGI exclusive spreadsheet. No one else is talking about this on EGI. So we are back with the spreadsheet. We are actually talking about printed out versions of the spreadsheet here on here on EGI. These are printouts because you can't actually print out the whole spreadsheet at once, so you have to select sections of different tabs within the spreadsheet. So this is This is the spreadsheet for. This is the Xbox One spreadsheet. You can see it. I just there's a printout here. You want to know what I've been doing with the time?
Robby, I got through level number 1. On to level 2. There's not much between us now. It's just one more little tiny level. But this one's stuck. Robby.
So we have.
Robby, is Katie home?
Katie's home.
Katie.
She's asleep. But please. So we're talking about the spreadsheet, Alan. And Alan, asking about the spreadsheet. They've been wanting to know what games we've been playing here on Quarant-Egi. So I thought we'd give a quick update to what we've been playing, which is on Xbox One. We've been playing the following games. These are the games that we have been playing since the beginning of the Quarant-Egi. Prey.
Robby.
We put about 35
Robby, remember
hours
the
into Prey.
Robby pineapple?
And what that means, Alan, is that we've actually put 35 hours of gameplay into Prey. That was a Game Pass game that
Robby, look.
This just in. So we actually that money that the dollar amount for the 35 hours of gameplay actually comes out of the $45 that I spent on Game Pass Ultimate for 6 months, and of course $45 for 6 months makes you think, well, it's
$45 for 6 months.
$45 for 6 months of Game Pass, so that's $14. So Game
but
Pass
how many hours? But how many hours did you play?
Well, just out of Prey, I got 35 hours, so that's getting very close with just that game Prey to that $1 per gameplay hour that we are constant. That's what we strive for. That's what we aim for.
Come in. You gotta use the bathroom. Use the bathroom. My friend's going inside.
Okay, Robby.
Alan, 35 for Panzer Dragoon Orta. Of course, we spent $5 on, but unfortunately, we're only able to get 3 hours of gameplay out of that wonderful classic original Xbox Panzer Dragoon Orta, but that does not count. And because I have not played the original Panzer Dragoon for PC, that exists as a kind of a kind of an Easter egg, not an Easter egg. What do you call it when something is where it shouldn't be?
An Easter egg. Robby, you're playing. You always talk about Panzer Dragoon on EGI. I've noticed.
Yes, it's a big game for me. It's sort of the heart and soul. If you could, you're over there now. So if you could just hands off the doorknob.
Got it. Back to you, Robby.
Back to you, Alan. So that was what we've been playing on Xbox. That was the Xbox spreadsheet. So let's go dive right into the. The next page of the spreadsheet is, of course, the Nintendo Switch part of the spreadsheet. So this is where the rubber really hits the road, Alan, because the Nintendo Switch is, of course, probably the game that I have invested the most financially in right now. So, even though if we're going to just start at the top here, of course, we all know that I paid $50 for Octopath Traveler, but I've only put 30 hours into it.
Robby, have you ever played WarioWare Smooth Moves for Nintendo Wii?
I have played WarioWare Smooth Moves on Nintendo Wii. Unfortunately, the Nintendo Wii does not have a game time tracker, so we can't actually look and see how much I have spent playing Wario Smooth Moves, but I promise, and this is EGI, no one else talks about how much they spend on WarioWare Smooth Moves, but I only spent around, this is, and because I'm going to divide this, so I got that on Gamefly when I was still a Gamefly subscriber.
So you rented it?
I rented it from Gamefly. I spent $22.99 a month on Gamefly, so I could have 3 games out at a time. And
Robby, wouldn't it be cool if you owned it? If you owned WarioWare?
Well, I don't have anything. I don't have anything that won't play on anything.
You could play it on the Wii U.
I don't have the Wii U hooked up right now.
Well, you could just own it.
You got to focus on. You got to focus what's on in front of you, because I've spent about $1,800 on Wii games, on Switch games. I mean.
Yeah, me too.
So that means that I've got to go, and I got to go really taking advantage of this lockdown situation to play as many Switch games as possible, because I paid $40 for Darkest Dungeon with all the DLC, but I've only put 10 hours into it. And you think, well, aren't you making it up with the Xbox Game Pass? And the answer is yes. Because with the Xbox Game Pass, I've gone as far as to play 23 hours of the Halo Master Chief Collection, and that comes out again.
Is that a lot for that game?
$45 for 6 months of Game Pass, which is normally $14.99 per month. So the 6 months, that means I've been getting a discount of 50% on that Game Pass Ultimate subscription.
Robbie, did you hear that they made Grand Theft Auto free and it made a problem on someone's
Yes, but we
computer?
do not. This EGI editorial, which is that we do not support the Epic Games Store because of their close ties to Tencent, which is a very problematic company if you are paying attention to the news coming out of Hong Kong and the spreadsheet. So we're talk about the spreadsheet. We're in the spreadsheet. What's next? 3DS. So we got the 3DS spreadsheet coming up here. We're talking about Fatal Fracture on the Nintendo 3DS. So now we're talking about the Nintendo 3DS spreadsheet. Doing pretty good here, because what's happened is that as I've beaten my 3DS games, I've sold them on eBay and gotten some of that money back. So in addition to me paying I paid $13 for Super Mario Land, and I got $12 for it on eBay, and I got 20 hours of gameplay out of it. So in a way, I made money back.
That's so cool. I think that is so cool.
So Alan, what's the spreadsheet? What are your thoughts here? We're talking about the spreadsheet.
I think that this spreadsheet is one of you have so many interesting qualities, and I think that the spreadsheet is definitely up there as maybe one of the most innovative, unique, just kind of Robbie things that I wish I could do. I just don't have the patience for. You want to hear a secret?
Yes.
I don't want anyone to hear, so come out and I'll whisper it.
I can't do that, Alan, and get away from the slop sink.
Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Alan. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have some very special coverage for the Quarant-Egi audience of Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, but it's not what you think it is, because it's different.
Strike Training, Pilot Induction, Training Session 1, Part 1. Aim and Objectives. 1. Flight Control. 2. Ground Target Location. 3.
And we are back with our Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning coverage, except tonight we are actually, because this is the final night of Quarant-Egi, we actually will be looking at a special look back at the Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning coverage that we have been bringing you over the last 7 weeks.
Yay, I love Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I love that.
And we are going to be talking about everything that we saw, everything that happened during our wonderful Kingdoms of Amalur
Reckoning
gameplay excursions, our exploration of this massive open world action RPG from the people that don't exist anymore, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Alan, what are some of your favorite memories of Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning?
I think my favorite memory would have to be when you found that bear and it spooked me.
So we found the bears, and we did have a fight, didn't we, with the bears? We had
you and me, or you and the bears?
Me and the bears. So, and when I say
Robby,
me and the bears, that's not.
You got some from Target, I think.
That's an electric fly swatter.
Do you want it?
No, I don't. I have to disinfect that. So when I say the bears, of course you remember that we fought the bears. The bears, we ended the bears' lives. They were left there in the woods outside of this wonderfully rendered little town, as I recall. And we left the bears there, and we tried to find them again. And that was quite an adventure in and of itself, was trying to find the bears, because we knew that the bodies of the bears would still be there, because the wonderful usage of video memory in Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning allowed those bears to be there in perpetuity. For if you were out there, would you just mind spraying the lavender plants?
I'm gonna wash off the Target box so it's disinfected.
No, don't do that. There's batteries in there. It's an electric fly swatter. So just go ahead and point that at. We have some rosemary and some lavender out back.
Look
being a little parched because we haven't had time to get out there.
Yeah, it looks good back here, Robby. I love it.
Thank you. We've done a lot of work on the yard.
I might just stay back here. It's so nice.
Well, if you do that, we're going to have some problems, because you're going to get bit by. Well, we get the coyotes up here at night.
I don't mind.
I think they might, because it's their yard.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, we killed the bears. We lost the bears. We tried to find them again, so we could show everyone here watching the wonderful video memory usage that Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning showcases.
I don't know how to turn off your hose.
Unfortunately, well, this is just us looking back.
Robby, which way do you turn the hose to get it off?
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Got it. It was normal. I thought it was weird. I'm all wet. Can I?
I've never liked that phrase, righty tighty, lefty loosey. It always it sounds a little impure to me. It sounds problematic, like a guy with a buzz cut might say it.
Lefty loosey, Robby. I'm all wet. Can I come in and towel off?
You absolutely cannot, Alan. The door's locked. We've also.
That's the problem, Robby.
Katie has drawn. Pulled. What's the difference? When you draw something, does that mean it's opened or is it closed? I can never.
I don't know. Are you talking about It's the Arts?
It's not. No, not yet. But maybe in a second. And here, so Kingdoms of Amalur coverage.
Oh my God!
So many things happened. So many wonderful experiences over the course of the last 6-7 weeks, including remember when we were killed, Alan, while we were searching for the bears, the bodies of the bears, so we could. That's Beck's.
That's non-alcoholic, Robby. Let's share the Beck's non-alcoholic beer together. You and me, just take slugs of this.
Alan, 4th of July weekend. If things are back to any sort of semblance of normalcy, I promise you, one of us can drink Beck's, and the other person will drink iced coffee or I've been drinking a lot of onion tea.
Let's both share the one Beck's.
So when we were searching for the bears, we also got killed. We were killed, of course, you recall, in Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, and this is an EGI exclusive. No one else was killed searching
There's
for
a
the
helicopter
bears,
out here, Robbie.
fighting the boggarts. And I don't like saying that word because it sounds, there's something wrong about it. It sounds almost not as bad as righty tighty lefty loosey, but it's still a very, it sounds like it could be almost saying something very bad. But the boggarts were, of course, these wonderfully rendered creatures with wood heads. And there's more powerful ones, and they would always attack you during a bit of a swarm. It was sort of a swarm
Robbie, this wood
plague.
is chipped. So
That's from the coyotes, Alan. The coyotes try to get into the house at night. This is why you need to protect it. If you're going to be out there all night, I can't stop you. I'm not a police officer, and I'm not going to open this door or this window and infect the whole house, because we have been running a tight ship, as you recall. So, but not as much of a tight ship as they were running in that town that we visited, where it appeared to be there very few people around. So you can only imagine that they were inside buildings that we did not enter because we were still looking for the bears, or we were still on our way to regain some semblance of pride back from the boggarts, the creatures with the wood on their heads. We were also we went into a cave.
It's dark as hell.
This is Alan. I need your help here because you're the expert on our Kingdoms of Amalur coverage. Did we go into the cave, or did we just think?
I think you just talked about going in the cave.
I think we just talked about going. I think we just talked about going. We looked at the cave, but we didn't go into the cave. This is the problem with a game like Kingdoms of Amalur, because you sort of set off, and if you don't kind of keep a focus on what you're trying to do, you're going to go off on all these different directions.
If there's a problem.
If there's a problem. There's never a problem.
Not with Kingdoms of Amalur. Why not?
Because there's no problem with going off the path and beat Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, but we were trying to bring a special kind of insight into Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, so we didn't go into the cave.
You wouldn't believe how dark your yard gets.
Oh, just wait till the coyotes show up, because the coyotes are they're always drenched in sweat.
Really?
So
are you kidding?
We didn't talk about the differences. What we did not do when we were covering our incredibly unique coverage of Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning was that we did not talk enough about.
Robbie, I'm shaking it up.
Well, don't do that, because then it'll be all fizzy when you open it.
I know, but that'll be a fun time.
And it'll smell like food to the coyotes.
It'll smell like Bex, and it will be fun for both of us.
The fruit flies will get on you.
I think it could be a fun adventure if we both got hosed down with Bex. Damn this, Bex.
So what we didn't do is we didn't talk about the differences between Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning and Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen, the other action-adventure, open-world action-adventure RPG from... It's sort of like if you made Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning with a group of Japanese developers instead of a bunch of criminals.
Right.
So what are those differences, Alan?
Of Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning v what versus what?
Dragon's Dogma.
The Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning's got more boggarts and sprites, and the hide helmet feature. Well, I would like to move on to the next segment, because I don't know. You played a lot of Kingdoms of Amalur, but a lot of it was confusing.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you there, because this is our time to look back at our Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning coverage.
Can I come in and we can play it from the beginning and see if we can beat it in one night? That would be fun. Robbie, do Game Plus.
Alan, I'm gonna say I'm gonna do sort of a word association here. This is all goblins.
Goblins.
So you say the first word that comes out of your head when I say goblins.
Robbie.
Wolf.
House.
Troll.
Katie.
Thresh.
What was that one?
Thresh.
Thresh? I don't know what it means, so I can't play the word association game.
The thresh is those crazy creatures that look like trees. They look like trees, or they look like the Wild Hunt from
I'll probably then in that case my word will be trees.
Okay, well
Thresh?
so thresh, trees, creatures. What do you got in your hand there?
That was one of your bush plant, one of your big bushes.
Well, don't touch that.
Robby, the plants just fall right apart if you tug on them in your backyard. So you should
Alan,
maybe
you got to
do
get out of
something
there.
about
It's
It's
throwing,
what?
this is our final episode, Alan.
that.
Throwing
Final,
the whole thing off.
final and best in my personal opinion.
Okay, well, you got to get out of there with that. The Bex is yours. The WarioWare Smooth Moves are yours.
Look how bright the light got. The Bex is ours to share.
This is a
The
video
Wario
game.
Smooth
Alan, this is a
Smooth
video game
Moves is a
news show.
It's a 2-player game we can play.
This is a video
this
game.
is just
It's
one
not-
of your
it-
plans.
As many people can play WarioWare. That's the magic of the WarioWare games.
Well, let's see. How many controllers you got?
I don't have. I have 4 Wii controllers.
Let's
But
hop up.
unfortunately,
Let's
I've got
drink
no
the
Wii.
Bex. Let's drink the Bex and hop in the car and go to a GameStop and get a Wii.
They're all gone.
What do you mean they're all gone?
Well, nobody sells them anymore. Alan, I'm getting a little worried about you out there.
Why?
Because you're not.
Don't worry about me.
You're not talking about the video
kinda
game news. You're not talking about Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. We've got all this stuff
I'll
prepared.
talk about that.
Say what do you want to talk about?
Things that have Amalur Reckoning, I already told you.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it, bud. Get that out of my slop sink. What the hell is that in the slop sink?
It's a cranberry juice.
You can't bring cranberry juice over. You can't. That's a slop sink.
It's not mine.
It is now.
Look how hot your slop sink gets. It burned my hand. Damn it. It's so hot. Ow!
Okay, well, turn the slop sink off because
Robby,
our landlord pays for that, and she's keeping the rent low for us with the expectation that we're going to take care of the yard and keep the water bill down.
I watered the yard, so I am taking care of it. I did hurt my hand even with the gloves, so I would like to come in and get mended.
You haven't. You're wearing thermal. Those are thermal gloves.
Okay, well, I was lying
You
about
didn't feel.
getting hurt.
You didn't
I
feel
was
a thing.
lying about. You're right.
So
I didn't.
I'm
for
going to
emotion-
tell
I am
you a
emotionally
little secret
scarred. I
about
do
that
wanna come
door,
in.
Alan, is that's locked from the inside with a chain. So even if you were able to jimmy that lock off, the deadbolt and the handle bolt,
Well, I'll get in the window.
knob bolt, they can't go in the window.
Says who?
It says the iron on the window,
snagged on
the
a
bars
tree.
on the window.
Yeah, I don't care. I think I can get down here. Robby, why?
Have you? What have you been eating?
I ate
You've
granola.
been out there.
Robby,
How long have you been out there?
I brought a granola. Robby, are you gonna watch? Whee! Ow! Oh!
All right, this just in. Alan is breaking the circle of trust, but that has been established by the mayor's office of Los Angeles and the governor's office of California, along with numerous other entities that have
Sorry, I
asked
fell.
us to be
Hold on, I gotta put on
careful,
my
to be sincere and careful and take care of each other. Alan, I have to say that I am
Robby, what did
incredibly
I miss?
disappointed. To finish
Robby?
off, this is Quarant-Egi's final episode, and we've barely had a discussion about any video games.
Did I miss much? My selfie stick broke.
So let's take a quick break. We're gonna look at the arts. This is the video break for It's the Arts. It's a wonderful art that we sent you in because you people show up every week to every couple times a week now, every episode to pay attention to the discussions that we work really hard to curate for you, and then you send us in art that makes us, that validates the amount of effort we do, and when we talk about video games, that we don't just bother each other by like tapping on your windows or trying your doorknobs or putting a bunch of trash in your slop sink.
Robby, you see that light?
I'm not looking.
That's me.
Alan,
Robby, let's do that list.
we're gonna do the list.
That's what I
So I
said.
need you to do the list.
I love the list. I love the list. I
Well, I
wouldn't
need you
do
to
anything
the
to
list.
mess up the.
So
I wouldn't do
so
anything to
you
mess up the
keep
list.
tapping on the door.
Oh, is it? Oh, sorry. I didn't know you could hear it.
All right, we're gonna do the list.
Can't wait.
So, welcome back to EGI, Quarant-Egi. We're doing the list. It's of course Alan. Hands up, Alan.
I'm just here to do the list.
What we're doing the list, Alan. Oh, this is a very special list tonight. Very close to my heart, which is this is a list of games that you think of when I say the words Phantom Crash, Alan.
Okay.
So these are the games that you think. That of course means that Phantom Crash is of course not on the list. These are just games that when I say the words Phantom Crash, you think of in your head when I say the words Phantom Crash.
Got it. Phantom Menace.
These are video
That's
games.
a game.
So Phantom Crash is of course the wonderful game from Genki Entertainment, the people behind Tokyo Extreme Racer and Super Magnetic Neo on the Sega Dreamcast. And it is a incredible. It's a mech combat game. It's a vehicle action game. It's the kind of game that makes you say, if this is the game, or if this is not the game, wait. If this is the game, it's the mech game. It's not a card game, Alan. So it's not Phantom. So when I say Phantom Crash, I'm not talking about Phantom Dust. So Phantom Dust is on the list because that's a sort of card fighting, post-apocalyptic run around in the ruins kind of game, and not Phantom Crash, which is of course a vehicle mech action game. Might also, when I say the words Phantom Crash, a lot of people might think of the words Mech Assault or Mech Assault 2.
Why? Why would they think of Mech Assault?
Because they know when you say Phantom Crash, people instinctively do not touch the.
It's agave.
It's not agave. It's aloe.
It's aloe.
So we need that
That'll
aloe
be
when we get sunburns at the beach.
I burned my hand, so I can use the aloe.
So Mech Assault and Phantom Crash are two different games. Mech Assault's on the list tonight. It's also interesting to note that Mech Assault was made by the wonderful people over at Day One Studios, the people that brought us Fear 3 and also Mech Assault 2 and also Fracture, the third Alan.
What? Are you talking about Fracture?
If I see you touch that doorknob one more time, I'm gonna get my World War II era pistol out.
Why do you have World War II stuff?
I don't want to talk about that, but I will
Robby,
say it's
you're not
loaded
supposed to collect
and it's been cleaned out. And it's
I'm not
going to say which pistol it is, but it's German. Okay, so Heavy Gear is on the list tonight. Heavy Gear is a very similar sort of style of mech vehicle action game to Phantom Crash, but it's made, of course, in the United States. What?
Why do you have German pistols from World War II?
Because those are the better pistols.
I think you should get
any game player, any person that plays World War II era video games knows that you as much as possible you keep the German pistols and the German machine guns. Keep the American rifle. Keep the American M1 Garand. It's a classic rifle. When you think about rifles with spring-loaded, semi-automatic
Robby,
rifles.
aloe is gross.
Yes, you put it on. You can actually put that in a smoothie if you want to go crazy. Speaking of going crazy, we're talking about people say Phantom Crash, they think Phantom Dust, and if they think Phantom Dust, Dark Void might come to mind. Dark Void, of course, is the third-person fly around the level. It's for the verticality of Dark Void was confusing to a lot of people, and it came out on Xbox, of course, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. and unfortunately was also released as a two-dimensional NES-style action platformer. But if it's on the list, but the question is, the question is that it's Dark Void is not on the list, even though people think of Dark Void when they think of Phantom Crash, which is what they think of when they think of Phantom Dust.
Menace, and I think of Phantom Menace.
So Steel Battalion isn't on the list either. Steel Battalion is not on the list because it is obviously got that big controller. So when you say the word Steel Battalion, you definitely know what people are talking about. But a lot of people confuse Steel Battalion and Chrome Hounds. So when Chrome Hounds comes up, a lot of people say, "Is that the same game as Phantom Crash?" And the answer is no. Phantom Crash is, of course, also known as Steel Lancer. So this is
Robby,
Steel
do you have
Lancer is
animals back
not on, but it's not on the list because it's.
I hear.
What do you want to say, Alan?
I want to say that EGI is wonderful, but they didn't talk about Unreal Engine 5 and the Nanite technology that allows billions and billions of movie quality assets to be in a real-time engine and dynamic kind of bug swarms. And I think you should talk about that on EGI. Back to you, Robby.
Someone in the chat just asked if I should add Darkstalkers 3 to the list.
Are you going to do it?
No, because it's when you think of Darkstalkers 3, you know exactly what it is. It's when you think of Phantom Crash that you think of different games potentially.
Got it.
Phantom Crash is a very specific sort of. It's like you do these word associations, and you.
Well, I don't know that game. Well, I don't know that game, Robby. So I can't do. I don't.
Well,
know
that's
that
what
game.
the list is for. That's why we're talking about the list, so people know
don't ask,
what
I
games.
know, but you always ask my opinion about games for the list that I don't know anything about those games. So
I just need you to. I just need to respond like, oh, okay, whoa. Is Phantom Crash? What kind of game is Phantom Crash? What kind of game is Heavy Gear? What kind of game is Mech Assault? What's Otogi? What, like, you never asked me what Otogi is.
Well, I didn't know I was supposed to ask what Otogi, and someone really messed up the bolt on your outside gate. You have a bottle opener?
Your twist
Robby?
offs.
Oh.
Bex's twist off.
I'll try to twist that off. Because I'm thirsty and it is rude to not offer your guests water, so I have to drink Old Bex alone. You know, it's a group effort drink.
Snow Beast in the chat says, "Can you add RoboPit?"
Robby, this isn't a twist
Sure,
off.
okay. RoboPit's on the list.
Maybe I'll bash it on a
It's a
rock.
6 or 7. It's a 6 or 7 out of 10 game. It's a mech combat action game. It's a vehicle action game. If you look at mechs and vehicles, so you know, I guess it could be on the list.
Your rock is weird. I can't get in my Bex. I'm thirsty as hell. I'm gonna settle in for the night and wish me luck tomorrow.
Well, Alan, that sounds like I'm telling you, the coyotes are hungry. They come down out of the mountains, and they are just looking for a morsel like you. And you look wrapped up like a candy bar. So, good luck.
Thank you, Robby. I wish you luck. Godspeed. You are my captain, and I will be safe and sound, and I will fend off any coyotes the same way you've fended off so many bears in Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. What a great season it's been. Back to you, Robby.
You want me to sing you a song?
Yes. Of course, that would be amazing.
All right.
You're gonna do that?
Yes, I'm going to sing you a song to
Thank you.
help you go to sleep.
Okay, I'm gonna lay down then.
But you have to promise me
It's wet back here,
that
though.
when you wake up, you wake up, you get out of that yard as quickly as possible. Because if Katie finds you there, you're gonna get smushed. Because she is pissed.
Okay.
song time.
Thank you, Robby. I love you.
Alan, you came to my house and you slept on my yard. Even though it was wet, you rented my car a long time ago, and you left some trash in the backseat for me to find. I found it. I found it. I found the trash you left in the backseat of my sedan. You better have a nice long sleep, and when the sun comes up, you better get out of that yard, 'cause Katie doesn't want anyone to be in the yard. 'Cause the grass is growing, the grass was just planted last week. It hasn't had time to settle into the soil of the yard. That's my yard. Treat it with respect. Treat it with respect. This is the talking part of the song, Alan. You go to sleep, you have a good dream. Maybe you think of something to respond to the list with for next time. So when we talk about the Phantom Crash game in future episodes of EGI, you have a constructive critique or view of the game, and everyone can say, oh, that's why Robby keeps Alan around, because he pays attention. And also throw away that cranberry juice, and don't leave that in my slop sink. Oh,
Robby.
Alan,
Oh,
go
Robby.
to sleep.
Go sleep.
The coyotes are your friends.
Mm,
I hope they don't bite you on the legs. I hope that you treat that yard with respect. Take it away, Alan.
Take it away, Alan. I will sleep in my best friend's yard because he's kind. He's generous, and he lets me sleep in his yard.
I'll try to leave some old scrambled eggs out.
Thank you, Robby.
But make sure you get to them before those mangy old coyotes do.
You're my best friend, and you have always been so nice to me, even
Alan,
when I've been behaving so bad.
I'm so incredibly angry at you that I've kind of come across that I've kind of crossed the Rubicon of anger back into just a deep and biting appreciation for you as a person, flaws and scabs and pinches and all.
I knew that if I just pushed myself and you to a certain point, it would come up in my favor one of these days.
Being friends with you, Alan, is like being at the edge of between the first and second rings of hell.
And because
you're just close enough to the outer ring of hell that you can get out when you want, but you just want to kind of stick around and see what's gonna happen next, because it's never boring.
Absolutely, and it's a wild ride. I'm just happy to be on the journey with you, and being friends with you is like being friends with some sort of a very beautiful animal that learned how to talk and let me ride on its back. And also wrote an entire episode of content that you did not respond to at all. My phone doesn't. It's hard to type on my phone. So and I didn't know where you live, so it took me a long time. I've been walking for a very long time, and I tried many houses before I found one that I could hear you talking inside of.
Well,
It just feels good to be
There's
here.
a lot of tough guys in the neighborhood, so you want to probably.
Ow! Something hurt! Ow!
All right, that was our quarantine EGI version of the show.
Leg.
This is our
God
final
damn,
episode.
It's like a bug.
The coyotes are out there, so I got to go and get the stick out. And
Something bit my leg.
Yeah, well, we're gonna take this next adventure together, Alan.
God.
I'm so incredibly grateful for your friendship, for your enthusiasm, and I'm still just I'm going to continue to be incredibly angry at you for a long time. But,
You amaze me. You amaze me.
It amazes me sometimes what you're capable of when it comes to derailing the show, but in some ways I respect it.
I'm capable of... anything.
Thank you. Please follow us on Instagram, find us on Twitter, EGI with Robby. If you have questions or arts, keep them in your memory banks. Hold them sacred, because we will be coming back with some version of the show in the future, and we'd love to see those arts and answer those questions as best we can. Don't know what the future holds, considering the weirdness of the world, but please stay safe. Keep your friends outdoors, and if they're attacked by coyotes, turn all the lights on in the yard. The cat's eating my slides.